Welcome to morning verse by verse Bible study. We're going to continue from the first verse of the second chapter of Matthew, and today is the um uh, 12th of September. And this chapter of second chapter of Matthew basically talks about the birth of Christ, how they were in Bethlehem, and we're going to see why they were in Bethlehem. Actually, Mary had the vision from the angel when she was in Nazareth. So also Joseph in Nazareth. Why were they in Bethlehem? Now let's go to second chapter. We read verse 1 and 2, and then we go to the reason why they were in Bethlehem. We look at verse 1 of second chapter. After Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea, during the time of King Herod, Magi from the east came to Jerusalem and asked, "Where is the one who has been born King of the Jews? We saw his star in the east and have come to worship him." Why were they in Bethlehem? They were actually in Nazareth earlier. Let's read Luke chapter 2, verse 1 to 7. I'm going to request Sushma to read Luke second chapter, verse 1 to 7.
Luke 2, verses 1 to 7. The birth of Jesus. In those days, Caesar Augustus issued a decree that a census should be taken of the entire Roman world. This was the first census that took place while Quirinius was governor of Syria, and everyone went to his own town to register. So Joseph also went up from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judea, to Bethlehem, the town of David, because he belonged to the house and line of David. He went there to register with Mary, who was pledged to be married to him and was expecting a child. While they were there, the time came for the baby to be born, and she gave birth to her firstborn, a son. She wrapped in cloths and placed him in a manger because there was no room for them in the inn.
Okay. So they went to Bethlehem to register because Augustus Caesar was the emperor in Rome. He had made an edict that there should be entire census of the entire Roman world. And because Joseph was from the line of David, which means the genealogy we read the last time about the genealogy of Jesus, actually genealogy of Joseph, not of Jesus, because Jesus actually did not have a biological father, and but because for all practical purposes, he was considered to be son of David, because son of Joseph. They thought he was son of Joseph. Joseph genealogy traces back to uh, Judea in Bethlehem, town of David. Bethlehem was the town of David. Remember the angels appeared to the shepherds out in the field? What did the shepherds say? Today the town of David, a Savior is born to you. Town of David is Bethlehem. So they came to Bethlehem for the census. That's the time Christ was born. So let's go back to second chapter of Matthew. Magi from the east came to Jerusalem. I asked you to do a homework. I wonder how many of you did the homework. And in that homework, I told you to read the second chapter of Numbers. There's a background to this. The Numbers second chapter, there's a very clear prescription, ordinance by God, how they should camp when they came from Egypt. Along the way, when they came from Egypt, they camped in different places. There's specific order which they have to camp. And in the middle of the camping would be the tent of meeting. And towards the east, there'd be three tribes: Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun. And total number of people was, according to ninth verse of second chapter of Numbers, 186,400. 186,400. Toward the south, three tribes: Reuben, Simeon, Gad. How many? 151,450. According to verse 16 of Numbers chapter 2. Numbers 2:16. Towards the east, three tribes: Ephraim, Manasseh, and Benjamin. How many? According to 24th verse of Numbers 2, 108,100. 108,100. To the north, three tribes: Asher, Naphtali, and Dan. How many? 157,600, according to verse 31. So look at 9th verse, 16th verse, 24th verse, and 31st verse. You realize that there are four numbers mentioned. Number of people towards the east, 186,400. South and north almost the same. South is 151,450. North is 157,600. Towards the east, 108,100. That's how it was. Now, why am I saying all these things? 24th chapter Numbers talks about how Balak, the king of Moab, empowered Balaam to put a curse on the Israelites. He gone up a mountain. Mount is Bamoth Mal. Bamoth Baal, to put a curse on the Israelites. From the top of Bamoth Mal, looking down towards the north, there was the plains of Moab, where they had camped, according to the prescription given in 2nd chapter Numbers. From top looking down, formation of the Israelites. And then he tried to put a curse became a blessing. And then Balak said, I asked you to put a curse, why are you making a blessing? Then he goes another place called Pisgah. He says, no, from here you can't see all the tents. Let us go to Pisgah. From there again tries to put a curse becomes a blessing. Third time they go down the third peak called Peor. From there they can see the entire camping. All the tribes camped below, approximately 3,000 feet below. I've been there actually, on the top of Bamoth Baal, looking down north. It's about 3,000 feet above the place where they were camped. Looking down from top, how does it look? In fact, verse 5 and 6, let's read Numbers 24, chapter verse 5 and 6, Sushma. Numbers 24, 5 and 6.
Numbers 24, verse 5 and 6. How beautiful are your tents, O Jacob, your dwelling places, O Israel. Like valleys, they spread out, like gardens beside a river, like aloes planted by the Lord, like cedars beside the waters.
These are the words of Balaam, who was supposed to put a curse on the Israelites, but he's putting a blessing. How beautiful are tents. They spread out like valleys. From the middle, spread out. East, south, north, west. And how does it look from top? It looks like a cross. North and south, almost the same distance. Towards the east, long distance, 186,400. Towards the west, short distance. From top, it looks like a cross facing the east. Facing the east, mark that. And as Balaam sees this formation of the tents, he saw beautiful tents, so Jacob, dwelling place of Israel. Then look at verse 17, Numbers 24, 17. I hope you read that also in the homework. Could you read that, Sushma?
Numbers 24, verse 17. I see him, but not now. I behold him, but not near. A star will come out of Jacob, a scepter will rise out of Israel. He will crush the foreheads of Moab, the skulls of all the sons of Seth.
As Balaam sees the formation of the Israelites, the camping, the arrangement of the camping, he says, I see him. He sees the cross formation and he says, I see him, but not now. I behold him, but not here. A star come out of Jacob and a scepter. Scepter is only for a king. So now where was Balaam from? Balaam was from a place called Pethor. Pethor in Mesopotamia. He must have gone back to his hometown, Pethor. Historically, from Pethor, around the same time, 1750 BC, approximately, I don't know when exact date, a whole wave of people came from there to India. And that's historically recorded. 3 waves came, 3 groups of people settled down. And what was the message they were brought from there? A star will come out of Jacob, a scepter. Some of this truth was conveyed, I suppose. I believe that. And that's why I told you last time, it's only speculation. Bible doesn't confirm it. Based on Isaiah 18:7, wise men came from the east, it says, not south or north, from east. Due east from Jerusalem, where do we go? You go beyond the Oman, cross the Arabian Sea, and go to Punjab. And very probably they came from Punjab. We don't know. It's just speculation. I could be totally wrong. Land divided by rivers, I told you. 5 rivers. Jhelum, Satluj, Chenab, Beas, and Ravi. And wise men came following a moving star. It was a moving star, not a formation of stars. I'll explain to you why it's a moving star. A miracle is happening. And somehow they had this idea from a star come out of Jacob, a scepter come out of Israel, and they must have known about this. When they saw the star moving, they followed the star and they came to Jerusalem. Jerusalem was the head of the capital of Judah, and the Jews are from that area. Jews. I earlier explained to you difference between a Hebrew, Israelite, and a Jew. Jews are those living in the region of Judea. Jerusalem, Bethlehem, that area are all Jews. Not every Israelite is a Jew. There are 12 tribes, and 3 tribes, Levi, Judah, and Benjamin, were Jews. So, king of the Jews, they came to Jerusalem following the star. Now, why did they go to King Herod? Now, by the way, I must tell you, later on I'm going to see that particular verse. Star had disappeared for some time. They're following a star. They came to Jerusalem, and the star disappeared. And they went to the king, King Herod. Where is this king born of king of the Jews born here? Why is he born? Because they forgot, they didn't see the star. I explained how we know the star had gone away. If the star had been till the time they went to Bethlehem, they wouldn't have gone to King Herod. They went to King Herod only because the star had disappeared. And no star, the Jerusalem star brought them. Then no star. Whom they go to? To the king, King Herod. Asking, where's this king of Jews born? And what happened there? Let's go on from there. We saw a star in the east. We saw his star. We're not seeing the star, we saw the star. Earlier we saw the star. No, the star is not there. Right? What happened to the star? We'll come to that a little later. We'll come to worship him. When King Herod heard this, he was disturbed, and all Jerusalem with him. Why disturbed? Because a threat to his sovereignty. He is the king. Somebody else is born, and he is supposed to be king of the Jews, and they were very disturbed. Who is this person born? How can he be king? I'm the king. How can there be another king? So they're very, very troubled. That's why later on the other Herod, in fact, this king Herod is Herod the Great, who died just after Christ was born. He died. His son was actually Herod Antipas. King Herod had 4 sons: Herod Antipas, Archelaus, Aristobulus, and Philip the Tetrarch. Herod Antipas was the one who was the king when Christ was actually crucified. When Christ was born, it was a different Herod, his father, King Herod the Great. But they are all very insecure because king of the Jews. That's why even Herod asked the question, are you king of the Jews? Very, very insecure. So they ask the king, where is this person born? Born king of the Jews. We saw his son is come to worship him. When King Herod heard this, he was disturbed, all Israel with him. When he called together all the people's chief priests and teachings of the law, he asked them whether Christ was to be born. In Bethlehem in Judea, they replied. For this is what the prophet has written, and quoting from Micah chapter 5, verse 2. But you, Bethlehem, the land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah. For out of you will come as ruler, the shepherd of the people Israel. Bethlehem, he was told by the Jewish hierarchy, the top people, chief priests, Pharisees, they knew the Old Testament scriptures. Wise men only follow the star. The star had gone away. So they go to the king, tell us where is this place? Then Herod called the Magi secretly and found out from them the exact time the star had appeared. When did the star appear? They found out the exact time. He sent them, verse 8, he sent them to Bethlehem and said, go and make a careful search for the child. As soon as you find him, report to me so that I may ought to go and worship him. So that's a message given to the wise men. Go to Bethlehem, find out where he is. And I also want to go and worship him, but it's a lie. He basically was insecure. Verse 9. After they had heard the king, they went on their way, and the star they had seen in the east went ahead of them. Star they had seen in the east. Earlier they saw, now the star was not there. So they went to the king. Now the star they seen earlier went ahead of them until it stopped over the place where the child was. Look at verse 10. When they saw the star, they were overjoyed. Why were they overjoyed? Star again has come back. Earlier the star brought us to Jerusalem, disappeared, and we went to king. King said, go to Bethlehem. And when they saw the star again, they were overjoyed. And the star went ahead and went to the house. It was a moving star. not a formation of stars. Many people misunderstand this passage to be wise men who are astrologers. They are not astrologers. They have wisdom to understand this very unique thing is happening in the heavens. A star is moving towards a particular place where King of the Jews is going to be born. A star come out of the east, and they follow the star till Jerusalem. Star went away. They went to king. King said, "Go to Bethlehem." As they go to Bethlehem, the star again appeared. They were overjoyed when they saw the star. They had seen the star before. The star it has disappeared. Again came back. It's a miracle, absolute miracle. And the star moves, and where does it stop? Look at the verse, this particular verse. They were overjoyed, verse 10. On coming to the house, they saw the child with his mother, Mary, and they bowed down and worshipped him. They came to the house, not to the manger. You know why? But the stem child had grown, almost 2 years old. Sometimes in these Christian programs, in church programs, you find the nativity story where there's a little baby. Joseph is there, Mary is there, angels are there, and then there are the shepherds are there, and wise men are there. Wise men did not come to the manger, they came to the house. Because by this time, the child had grown. Almost 2 years. That's why when Herod heard about the time when the star first appeared, he calculated. Child must be at least 2 years old. So he made an edict, all children below 2 years should be killed. He predicted, he calculated. By now, the child must be about 2 years old. Now, wise men came from the east, walking all the way, maybe in camels, I don't know. According to tradition, it could be camels. From far away they came, from the east. And we know from where they came. Isaiah 18:7. Let's read that verse, Isaiah 18:7. Exact place we do not know, geographical location, but the kind of people, land divided by rivers. Can you read Isaiah 18:7, Sushma?
Isaiah 18, verse 7. At that time, gifts will be brought to the Lord Almighty from a people tall and smooth skinned, from a people feared far and wide, an aggressive nation of strange speech whose land is divided by rivers. The gifts will be brought to Mount Zion, the place of the name of the Lord Almighty.
Yeah, so that refers to these wise men. Exact location we do not know. I told you I suspect it's Punjab. I don't know. I may be 100% wrong. It doesn't matter. Makes no difference. But they came from very far, following a moving star. They came to the house where the baby was, not a manger, house in Bethlehem, and they worshipped him. You know, the reason, the amazing to see during the lifetime of Jesus, only 3 times they found he was worshipped. 3 times during a lifetime, physical life on this earth. One is the wise man worshipping the baby, Jesus. Second was the blind man worshipping him, John 9:38. And third time, the disciples in the boat worshipping him, Matthew 14:33. So wise men worshipping this child, blind man who was healed of blindness worshipping Jesus, John 9:38, and 14th chapter of Matthew, 33rd verse, after he walked on the water and Peter walked on the water and pulled him up and put him on the boat, those on the boat worshipped him. Worship is only for God, nobody else. They recognize he is divine. And of course, we also see after he rose from blood, he appeared to Thomas. And Thomas, when he understands who this is, he says, "My Lord, my God," calling Jesus God. John chapter 20, verse 28. My Lord, my God. But during his physical life on this earth, only 3 times he was worshipped, 3 times. One is the wise man worshipping the baby, Jesus, and then blind man worshipping Jesus, and disciple worshipping him in the boat, Matthew 14:33. They worshipped him, and then what happens after they worship the child, King of the Jews? Then they opened the treasures and presented him with gifts of gold and of incense and of myrrh. Like I said last time, the traditional belief is gold because he was a king, incense or frankincense because he was a high priest, supposed to be later on, and myrrh because he was destined to die and be buried, but he would rise from the dead. Look at verse 12. And have been warned in a dream not to go back to Herod, return to the country, another route. Now they are supposed to go and report to Herod, no, that where the child is born. Herod wanted to kill him, kill the child. Although he said, I want to go and worship him, he planned to kill the child. And the Lord appeared, the angel appeared to Margaret and said, go back different route. They went back different route. Now, it's important that the star disappeared and so had to go to Herod, because Herod had to know about this child being born, because the child had to be taken to Egypt to fulfill prophecy. Hosea 11:1, out of Egypt shall I bring my son. And to fulfill that prophecy, the Lord ensured that this would happen. He would try to kill the children. And Joseph and Mary will take the child away to Egypt. At the appropriate time, bring him back, not to Bethlehem, but to Nazareth. The reason is because by the time they came back from Bethlehem, the one ruling in Bethlehem, one of the tetrarchs, was Archelaus. He was a very ruthless ruler. And they were told, don't go to Bethlehem, go to Nazareth. They go to Nazareth back. That's why Jesus grew up. A small child was taken to Egypt, brought back to Nazareth, born in Bethlehem, went to Egypt, brought back to Nazareth. He grew up in Nazareth. And till the age of 30, he was in Nazareth. Till the age of 30. That's when he began his ministry. And he moved to Capernaum, from where the ministry was actually launched. Capernaum. Okay, let's go on. Verse 13. When they had gone, an angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream. Get up, he said, take this child and his mother and escape to Egypt. She said, until I tell you, for Herod is going to search for the child to kill him. This Herod is King Herod the Great. Herod the Great who built the temple in Jerusalem. Later on he died, but later on the other Herod was Herod Antipas, his son, who was the one who tried Jesus when he was during the crucifixion time. There are actually 4 Herods in the Bible. 4 Herods. King Herod the Great, then Herod Antipas, who actually beheaded John the Baptist. Then there was Herod King Agrippa I, and then there was Herod Agrippa II. Agrippa I was the one who put James to the sword. John's brother James put to the sword. And King Agrippa II was the one who tried Paul, 26th chapter of Acts. So there are 4 Herods, 4 generations. But here this Herod is the first Herod, King Herod the Great. Verse 14, about Joseph, it says, so he got up, took the child and his mother during the night and left for Egypt, where he stayed until the death of Herod. And so was fulfilled what the Lord had said through the prophets. Out of Egypt I call my son. Hosea 11:1. That's why this had to happen. Prophecy had to be fulfilled. If the angel, if the star had gone straight to Bethlehem without stopping, disappearing, the Magi would not have gone to King Herod. They went to King Herod only because the star disappeared. The star again came. They had go to Bethlehem, again appeared. And they were overjoyed because now the familiar figure in the sky, the star moved and came and rested on top of the house where the child was kept. Beautiful, isn't it? The child must have been at least 2 years old, approximately. Maybe less than that, definitely. And approximately 2 years old. Then they go to Egypt until he died. Verse 16. When Herod realized that he had been outwitted by the Magi, he was furious. And he gave orders to kill all the boys in Bethlehem and his vicinity who were 2 years old and under, in accordance with the time he had learned from the king, from the Magi. Magi had told approximately how old the child is going to be. He calculated, might be around 2 years old, not more than 2 years. Which is this child, we do not know. Magi went away quietly. They didn't come and report to me where this child is. So every child less than 2 years, I'm going to kill. Ruthless, absolutely ruthless. Look at verse 17. Then what was said through the prophet Jeremiah was fulfilled. That is Jeremiah, 31st chapter, verse 15, quoted by Matthew. A voice heard in Ramah, weeping and great mourning. Rachel weeping for her children, refusing to be comforted because they are no more. children being slaughtered in Bethlehem, less than 2 years old. Ruthless. Verse 19. After Herod died, an angel of the Lord appeared in a dream to Joseph in Egypt and said, "Get up, take the child and his mother, go to the land of Israel, for those who were trying to take the child's life are dead." After King Herod died, angel appeared to Joseph. "Come on, take the child and go." And he goes back. So 21st verse. So he got up, took the child and his mother, went to the land of Israel. But when he heard that Archelaus was reigning in Judea in place of his father Herod, he was afraid to go there. Archelaus was a very ruthless tetrarch. Tetrarch means ruler of 1/4 of the land, 1/4 of the kingdom. King Herod the Great ruled the entire Palestine, ruled the entire area. He had 4 sons, I told you. Herod Antipas, Archelaus, Philip the Tetrarch, and Aristobulus. And divided into 4 regions. Where was Archelaus posted? Region of Bethlehem. So he didn't go to Bethlehem. A very ruthless king, ruthless tetrarch he was. Tetrarch means 1/4 of the land ruling. In Judah he is ruling. Judah is actually in Bethlehem. In place of Father Herod. He's afraid to go there. Having been warned in a dream, he withdrew to the district of Galilee. And he went and lived in a town called Nazareth. So was fulfilled what was said through the prophets. He will be called a Nazarene. He was called a Nazarene. Now, he grew up in Nazareth, Jesus. Now, when Nathanael was told that from his colleague, I think it was Peter or Andrew, I'm not sure, who came and told him, we found the Messiah. And Jesus of Nazareth. What did he say? How can anything good come from Nazareth? Can't be come from Nazareth. The Messiah won't come from Nazareth. He's coming from Bethlehem. But if you're really serious about it, they would have found out he's not from Nazareth. He's registered in Bethlehem. Go to the census. They all assumed he was from Nazareth. How can something good come from Nazareth? Messiah won't come from Nazareth. He'll come from Bethlehem. That's why they all believed. But he's actually from Bethlehem. Registered in Bethlehem, not in Nazareth. But he grew up in Nazareth. He was called a Nazarene. Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews. And Nazareth is supposed to be actually, in those days, considered to be a very inferior town, a small town and up in the northeast of Israel. Whereas Jerusalem is the main city. And Bethlehem is actually about 12 miles south of Jerusalem. 12 miles south of Jerusalem. Today when you go there, in 20 minutes you can drive from, depending on traffic, you can drive from Jerusalem to Bethlehem in about 20 minutes to half an hour. You can drive. A short distance, depending on traffic. Very small distance. Whereas Nazareth is a little far away. And it's considered to be a very inferior town. Today, Nazareth is under the rule of the Arabs. And whereas Bethlehem is now under the rule of the Palestinians. Completely messed up. But then, these are all biblical lands. Praise God for that. And now, Joseph and Mary take the child, Jesus, who is more than 2 years old, to Nazareth, where he grew up. That's where he grew up. Till the age of 30, he was in Nazareth. Sometimes people wonder, where was he between the age of 12 and 30? Age of 12, he was in the, read about how he was in Jerusalem, discussing with the people about the law in the temple. Then after that, no news. The people assume he'd gone. Where did he disappear? Very simple. Luke 2, 51, 52. It talks about he went to home to Nazareth, was obedient to his parents. He grew in wisdom and stature, favor with God and with men. Went home, was obedient to his parents. Age of 30, he began his ministry. So here we read about him going back to Nazareth, not to Bethlehem, because he'll be called a Nazarene. Praise God, finish the second chapter also. Last time we did first chapter, second chapter is over. Actually, Matthew Gospel is a bit like a story. There's some truths, no doubt there, very theological truths. We discussed that. But basically, it's an account of what happened between time Jesus was born and crucified, resurrected. God bless you all. We'll continue with the third chapter on Monday morning.